If you're a high school football player looking to play college football, this is the perfect video for you. We'll be going over the top 5 ways to get recruited and looked at by college coaches. It's been a while, apologize for that. Senior year, it's been super busy, but I'm back, and this is a really important video that I know a lot of people are going to benefit from, and something that I would have benefited from prior to my senior year. So the first thing we're going to talk about is one of the most important, and not a lot of people think about this in terms of ways to get recruited, but it's getting your grades right. You always want to be ready to present a good and solid transcript. You never know when a coach is going to hit you up and ask your coach or you for a transcript, so you always want that to be readily available. Make sure that all of your grades on there are good and they reflect your academic ability. Never take a semester off and coast through. You always want to do your best so it shows that you are consistently growing throughout high school. My transcript was rough my first 2 years of high school, but then it steadily increased into a great transcript at the end of my senior year. So improvement is great. Doesn't matter if you had bad grades the year before. Work hard this year for that improvement, and it will serve you well. Also, register for the SAT and ACT. If a coach asks if you've taken a standardized test and you haven't, you can just say that you registered, and that will show initiative from your side on getting that SAT or ACT done. So the second way to get noticed is to email coaches. Now what you're going to want to do when you email coaches is to include a list of information, this being height, weight, position, school, graduation year, notable statistics. So if you threw for 2,000 yards, rushed for 1,000, caught for 1,000, 10 sacks, something like that. I would not include stats that don't catch the eye very quick. If you scored, 5 touchdowns, that's great for you, but I would not include that because that doesn't really catch a coach's eye as much as someone that says they scored 10, 25, 30 touchdowns. I would also include in the email what you like to study. Even if you don't know what you like to study, maybe pick something that you might be interested in just to show that academic initiative on your part. Write a few sentences on why you want to attend this certain college. A lot of college coaches won't appreciate an email if it's not personable. So if you just say, hey, I'm XXX and I play XXX, I go to blank blank school, and that's it, they won't really think that's genuine. So show the initiative to research the school, learn about it, learn about the programs, learn about the majors, and show why you want to go to that school, both athletically and academically. Because when a coach hears that you want to go to school academically, it makes you look so much better, especially with the admissions staff as well. So when a coach recruits you, they are wanting you to bring a certain thing to the team. So when you vocalize this in an email, it will go over very well. So if you are a leader, a captain, say that in your email. Say that you are always on time, always early, you've been a captain for 2 years, something to show either characteristic or athletic ability that you will bring to the team that every team needs. Also at the end of the email, sign it, sincerely blank, have a good day blank, but also include your high school coaches information, because college coaches love to reach out to high school coaches to ask for info. The third one is very important, kind of going off the last point for the email. Have your high school coach reach out to college coaches on your behalf. College coaches love to hear from high school coaches. College coaches, for the most part, trust high school coaches more than they would you, because they're a little bit more unbiased, as well as they have more experience from playing and coaching. Also, a lot of high school coaches either played in college or maybe the NFL, and then their coaches that they played for either moved up to college or moved down to college. So a lot of high school coaches have connections, and that can really benefit you, especially if one of the coaches that your high school coach knows has a connection to, and that can really speed up the process. When you tell your high school coach that you would like to play college football, the number one thing that I would suggest beginning to do is send him a list of preliminary schools. I would go with some D3 schools, some D2, some D1, each tier, just to show him that you're willing to play at any level and no matter division. The fourth way to get noticed is filling out a recruiting questionnaire. Every single time I reached out to a coach, I would say 80% of the time they would tell me to fill out a questionnaire. A questionnaire is basically a form on a athletic team's website that'll ask for basic information, GPA, height, weight, what you lift, highlight link, your parents' information, where they went to school. Consider this questionnaire as an application to be recruited. This is your athletic application to the school initially. Of course, you'll send in a new application, but for me, I looked at it as I'm going to send in my information, what I do academically, what I do athletically, and then if I have any extracurriculars, send that in there, grab their attention, and then the process can continue from there. If you have information like your bench max, 40-yard dash, 5-10-5, something like that you're not really proud of, that you're working on, I wouldn't include it. I would just leave it blank. Unless it's starred, then reveal that information. But if you have a bad bench, bad 40, I wouldn't include it. If it's not going to affect you positively in the recruiting process, I wouldn't include it in the questionnaire. Also, a big thing is communicate with your teacher or your admissions counselor at your high school and know your GPA. One thing that I struggled with is I didn't really know my GPA for a while, so I was just kind of throwing out random numbers. My school went off a different scale, so then I converted that to the regular 4.0 scale, and then when I did that, it didn't actually show my legitimate GPA. So make sure you have your GPA down with your admissions counselor, college counselor before you fill out this questionnaire, because that is very important, especially at the D3 level. They want to know an accurate and good GPA. The fifth way is the most important thing, and I stress this for every single athlete, not just football players, is create a Twitter. Twitter has become the best recruiting platform, and it's free. You don't need to sign up for these paid recruiting platforms for the most part. All these recruiting platforms and websites you have to pay for is Twitter, but just not on Twitter. Twitter, you can create a profile, a Twitter account. You can include all the things you want in a recruiting profile: 40-yard dash, GPA, height, weight, highlights. It's all can be translated to Twitter. So 100% create a Twitter. That's the most important thing you need to do. There are tons of coaches on Twitter. I don't know of any school that didn't have at least 2 or 3 members of their coaching staff on Twitter already. Follow them. That will show the interest. They'll see your name pop up in their feed of being followed. They'll click on it. They'll say, oh, he's a 6'3", 190-pound quarterback. We need one. They'll most likely follow you back, and then you can DM them. Consider it a recruiting profile, so don't include like personal posts or stuff. Leave that to your other Twitter if you have one, or your Instagram. I would suggest you use this Twitter profile as a strict recruiting profile. That's what I did, and that's what became most effective for me. For what to post, I would post highlights, lifts, and drills that you're proud of that really catch the eye. So if you have a great highlight, I would put it up, pin it on your profile, so it's the first thing they see in your feed when they click on your profile. That will help a lot with gaining the attention of these coaches. The next video will be an in-depth tutorial on how to create a Twitter account for football recruiting, because that's one thing that I learned. Twitter is the most important. I created my Twitter profile to express the positives and the strengths of my game and my academics, so I will make an in-depth video on that coming soon. That is going to be the most important video I think I've ever made, because I would have loved to know that valuable information before I started the recruiting process last year. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you had any questions, let me know down below. I'll be willing to answer them. Follow me on Instagram at tnall10. Shoot me a DM if you have any questions, and I'll gladly answer them. So again, catch you guys in the next video. Quarterback HC signing off. Peace.